I'm Dennis Kinard. I was in one of Jimmy Traynor's films,
But
and well, only one, unfortunately. He's only hired me once, but I live
yeah,
far away, so I can't blame him.
that's why I wanted to interview you, man, is because look, I talked to an actress yesterday that actually she sent me a wrestling video, and it was years later that we actually connected. But see, yours is different because there was no even idea of it. Okay. We basically came in contact with Tarek. You were working on his movie and you were
Hmm.
playing three different parts, oh, which by the way,
Was I?
yeah, you played one, the devil, the angel, and his best friend.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and it was all green screen, and you guys did it all day, but we were only there for an hour. We were basically there we just stopped by, we met Tark, met you, and then went on our way. 5 years later, it's more than 5 years later,
Was
because I
that?
did a movie with Fabrice called Beat the Bastard Down, and we shot it in 32 hours because he flew out here and it was all improv. And then we're like, well, let's do another one. And the reason I wanted to do it is because Fabrice, but then Vincent is all proper. And I was like, I got to put these two together because it would just be funny because it's like two different sides of the table. I had to have somebody carry the whole movie. And so I wrote it and it was a 103-page script. We looked everywhere. Peachy's like, you can't be in it, which would have been a challenge, to try to do it in 32 hours plus be in it.
Expected everything. You couldn't
Yeah.
do it all.
Right. Well, actually, since she said that, I probably will eventually do that. And that's the one we'll probably
I'll
get back
show you.
together. Yeah. I'll be the star and you be the co-star and we'll do another 32-hour one.
Okay, let's do it.
But the crazy thing was, and I swear, man, this is how it happened. I was sitting there and she was like, "There's you work with so many actors over the years. There's nobody that can carry that movie and do it in 32 hours." I was like, "Nobody." And I was like, "Maybe Dennis." And she was like, "Who the hell's Dennis?" And I was like, "You remember that guy we met for like an hour with Tark?" And she was like, "Hey, then go try to contact him." I was like, "I ain't gonna know who I am."
Yeah.
you know? And she was like, "Well, what does it hurt? I mean, we got everybody ready to go and we need a lead." I contacted you and I was shocked, dude. I was shocked you said yes. Well, actually, first you said, "I don't know if I could do it. Let me see if I can get a ticket," because it was short notice.
And I think I was like low on money too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do a movie for free. I don't know them very well. It's in hardly any
It's
time.
on the other side of the United States because you're in California and you're
Yeah, a
like,
clone trip. But of course, it's like a lead role, and when you're up and coming actor and you want to do stuff so bad, you'll do anything to do a lead role. You're like, of course I'll do it. I'll learn the lines like in 2 days. Like I don't care. Like start believing in me. But of course, I was gonna like do anything I could to
yeah.
work really hard to try and do it. But because you just want to do a good job.
Well, everybody kind of fibs on their resume. I could do this and that. I already seen what you could do because you didn't have to audition. Yeah, you just had to take the leap, say. But I mean, what was it on your mindset to be like, it's a lead role, but I don't know this guy, I never auditioned for it. I don't know nothing about him. Met him one time for an hour.
Been crazy. Well, at least I knew Tarek, and at least I knew Vincent DePaul,
You
right?
knew Vincent beforehand.
I don't know.
Because when you met him here, he took you to the inner harbor and was taking you on boats. And then Fabrice called me up and said, "Jimmy, we got to film tomorrow. You got to tell this guy to bring us back." I said, "Vincent, bring him back." Because Vincent was from here. He tried to show you all the sights and stuff. But
Right.
you didn't know Vincent.
I wonder if I knew him or not, or maybe I just became friends with him, so I just figured I knew him.
I did like the story that you told me when you got on the plane because you walked past Fabrice and you told me, you said, "You ready to do this, buddy?" And he's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Because you were on the same plane, which helped
Oh,
me out because I was picking you both up.
oh, did I recognize him and he
Yeah,
didn't?
you recognized him,
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
he's
he
easy
didn't
to
know
recognize.
who this guy was that was talking to him, and he was like, "We're gonna do this, buddy," because you were like sitting behind him or something like that. And he
Yeah.
was, the hell? I didn't know that you and Tark actually took classes together.
I think that's how we met. Yeah, it was either acting class or a voiceover class or something like that.
That's where he saw you and he was like, "Dude, this guy can really act." That's why he wanted you to be in his movie because he's like, there's three different people. You're playing the devil, you're playing an angel, and you're playing his best friend. And he was like, he said, he was confident that you could do it. He has all praise for you. I'm telling you. It was a crazy thing. Like I said, there's a lot of things that you probably don't even remember. I told you at one point when my aunt and my cousin came home because we were using both of their houses. Remember? And they were like, "We want to go to sleep. When you leaving?" It's like 1 a.m. I said, "I ain't leaving." But my aunt told me later on, she goes, "Yeah, that little guy, he went out and jumped in the pool to try to wake up." Because all you guys are just let us sleep for a little bit. It was rough. I remember yelling at somebody I was following to try to get to the theater so you could hire the bodyguards. And then we were going over to somewhere else.
We shot at the restaurant.
Vincent begged me to stay away from you guys so he could go to sleep because he's like, "I'm not in the next scene. I don't need to go there. I'll meet you at your parents' house." He was like, "Just let me rest for an hour, man." You had to go and meet Fabrice for the ending to pick him up. So we had to go to Steve's house for that. It was just crazy. But the coolest thing I remember learning on there, I think it was either from you or Fabrice. I think it was Fabrice, but it was about the rain. When we were shooting that last scene and it started raining, I was like, "Oh my God," because we're going to hear it on the umbrellas. Or go get a sheet and tie it to the brooms because the water will hit the sheet, but it won't make no noise because it was just drizzling. So I
Mm.
could still film under there with the camera and you couldn't hear the raindrops or whatever. Fabrice?
Yeah, I'm not that smart.
I give him credit. I don't try to give him too much credit. Actually, I just finished this Blacklist movie. I actually called him up and he was like, "Jimmy, I only tried to watch 3 minutes of it, but I couldn't walk away from it." He goes, "Finally, you made a movie I can watch." He's he still hasn't changed. But I like it, he tells it how he feels. He doesn't hide if he don't like you, man, he don't like you. That's just how Fabrice is. The reason I wanted to talk to you, I told you, it's like 5 years later, somebody came and offered you a part. So I know that you told me kind of like you put the acting on the back burner, but it's never over, right?
Yeah. Well, I moved to a city where there's not anything really going on. I'm in Gainesville, Florida now, which there's nothing going on. There's a theater called the Hippodrome Theater, which they do plays, but not really plays that I'm too interested in. The
You can make your
closest,
own, man. I do. I had so many actors come through and I'd be like calling them for the next movie and they're like, "Jimmy, you showed me how easy it was. I'm gonna go do my own." So I couldn't get them back because they're like, "Dude, this is just a guy with a video camera. If he can do it, I can do it."
yeah, I don't know, yeah, what kind of production goes on in Gainesville. I'm sure there's some kind of stuff, but start my own kind of thing in
Yeah.
Gainesville, I guess. There's a city, Orlando's, 2 hours away, so there's some stuff there. So I guess if I wanted, I could pursue it, but
Are you still like SAG and paying the SAG dues and all that?
it's frozen right now.
Frozen just means that what you don't pay the dues, so you're
Basically, you can start back again, but you have to pay all the dues that you didn't pay while you were quit.
just between me and you,
Yeah.
secretly. If you don't pay the dues, I've heard that throws you into financial court. So you could basically work on both. So you could do non-union, and then if you get a union job, yeah, you might have to pay the back dues, but then you're going to get the money anyway to pay the back dues. But meantime, you're open for both.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know how true that is.
Well, I can do non-union work for sure. I feel dumb for the longest time when I got my SAG card and other people got theirs. They did non-union work and I didn't because I was like, "Oh no, I'm SAG. I'm gonna follow the rules and not do non-union work." And they were getting these amazing roles and getting all this work and stuff for their reels from non-union work, and I was just sitting there doing nothing and not getting an agent and not getting stuff for my reel because I was following the rules, and they of course never got caught, and I was sitting there just being a good boy, and
They're like, you can be fined. Okay, if I'm paying him zero, what's the percentage? You know?
I feel so stupid for following the rules.
I tell you, we could go on and on about SAG because I personally am not a fan of it. I think it is something that drew a wedge between me and Peachy, our
Really.
whole marriage, relationship, and everything. But even that, I had a friend that, man, he was in like all my movies. I'm always putting him with the girls on his lap and stuff like that. He went SAG and he never done anything afterwards. And I call him up and I'd be like sending him pictures of the old movies, like
Uh,
this. And he was like, he was so much, dude, that even when we did movies, he wouldn't walk in the house to help us as crew in case SAG found out. And I was like, that's just going too far. That's going too far. You're not even on camera, man. It has nothing to do with that. But that's why I started this too, because I started thinking, well, I can't, I'm supposedly not able to work with SAG actors, but I can do interviews with them. You know? And it's the same thing. It started also with script writers on LinkedIn. Is like, I write my own stuff. I can't work with you, but we can do podcasts and we can work together and kind of promote yours and this. SAG actors can come on here. I can talk to you. You can promote what you're doing. So we could still have a production. I'm still editing, so it still is a production.
so yeah, I'm not SAG
Yeah.
technically right now. I'm not SAG.
It's never over until it's over. And you're a really good actor. Not too many people could have done what you did. I don't think you really understand it. And none of us do. I talked to a guy that used to help me shoot films like 15 years ago. Actually, he was on the ticket. He's the guy that stayed with me for 32 hours. He got producer credit. He was one of the people that was there with us for the whole time. Not the boom guy that said, hey, I'm taking my equipment and going. And then we had to put a mic on a literally broom. But Sean stayed with us the whole 32 hours. Well, I didn't know that he still has a collection of all the movies and he still watches the movies that I made. And to
Cool.
find that out was kind of touching. I had a buddy that just passed away in October and he had thousands of DVDs, but he also had a section that was a Jimmy Traynor section
Oh,
of just
cool.
my movies, even ones that he's not even in. And I asked him, how'd you get those? He goes, when I was over your house, I stole them. But it didn't matter because to me, that was like, that is cool.
You like me enough to steal my
Yeah,
movies.
yeah. But you like me enough to steal, to have your own Jimmy Traynor section. And the ticket, told you, I still think it could go for a sequel. The way it ended and still having you, I still talk to Vincent and Fabrice.
Let's get it together. Let's do it.
I know Fabrice would do it
Yeah,
because he'll go anywhere just to act, man. He
yeah.
just loves to act.
If I wanted to do it again, I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't even know if moving back to LA would be the thing. Like, I wouldn't know where to start.
I heard, and I'm pretty sure it's right. It's Georgia. They're making more movies there. The guy that bought me my camera, he's a doctor down there, but he was like, Jimmy, even the independent filmmakers, man, they can just film anywhere. He's like, it's the new LA. There's so many movies, but if they don't have to deal with the whole LA shit. So if you were going to get back into it, Georgia is probably where you would want to go.
I'm pretty close to there.
Yeah, yeah, you're already on the East Coast anyway, really. So, like, Maryland has a film office hotline. Florida has a film office hotline that you could search online, and there are casting notices that people don't know about. So, even though you don't do the whole backstage West and shit like that, that's LA and California, there's local stuff that is posted on there. That's, above the whole, hey, I saw this role on Craigslist, I might get murdered. Yeah. But I mean, this is more, it's more legit. They got to go through a higher process to say, hey, I'm doing a short, I need some actors, or I'm doing a commercial. But you might want to check that out. Every state and city has them. So all you gotta do is search the internet. Not trying to push you back in. I'm just saying, you good? And it only takes one, man. It only takes one person to show up and say, hey, Jimmy, here's some money. Go make a movie. It only takes one person to say, hey, Dennis, I saw you in a ticket. Even, you can still do student films and stuff too.
I'm sure, yeah, the university here has stuff.
And remember, just like everybody else, you never know what they're going to be later on. And you might get a call like 15 years later being like, how the hell are they calling me? Oh, I made that student film. So you kind of gotta do it just to do it, to love it. But down the road, they might fish you back in,
Yeah.
whatever you did. But anyway, I
All
appreciate it, man.
all
Thanks.
righty. Sounds good. Okay.